So in this video, let's continue with the properties of logarithm. In this part, we will learn more about logarithm and we will learn the rules, important rules. The first rule says that a to the power of logarithm base a of x is actually x because these a's cancel each other and it's just x now. Let's check the first question to understand more. As you can see in this part, 5's cancel each other and there is just 2x plus, and 3's cancel each other and this is 4. And before come to that part, let's check this property, and this property is actually says that if the base of a logarithm is 10, then you can write this logarithm x. You don't have to write the base 10. If you check this logarithm e, as you know, e is a Euler number, which a number like pi. So you can, if you have e in the base, you can just write this as ln x. Just know that there's a secret e in the base if you see ln x function. Let's continue again. As you can see, there is a secret a, so these a's cancel each other and this equals to x plus 5. Let's rearrange the whole equation. And as you can see, x equals to 1. You just solve the equation and that is actually easy. Let's move on to the second property. This property says that if this part has a power, this power can go to the front, as you can see here. Also, if the base and this part has a power, you can write this way. I mean, this becomes the numerator and this becomes the denominator. So you can convert it to this. These properties will help you solve the questions. Let's start with these questions to understand more. Here you can write this power. I call it power, but some people call it exponent, some people call it argument. I'm just gonna call it as power. You can write this in base 3 like this. So let's rewrite the logarithm in a clear way. As you can see, there's a -5. I'm gonna put this in the front and rewrite it. So here logarithm 3 base 3 of 3 is 1, because you should also know that if the logarithm is, let me just write a quick note, logarithm x base x of x is 1 and logarithm x base x of 1 is 0, because x to the power of 0 is 1 only. Let's get back to the question. This part is 1 and there's a -5, so the answer is -5. Let's check this question. If logarithm base 16 of 256 is x, what is x? We're just gonna simplify the logarithm. Let's write them into base 2. So I'm gonna take them in the front. As you can see, this part is 1 and this part is 8/4, so it's just 2. The answer is 2. Let's move on to the other important rule. This rule is really important. You should always know this. Keep that in mind. Logarithm base a of x times y can be rewritten as this. You can write them into separate form, which will help you in the questions again. And if the power is in divided form like this, x over y, you can write them into this part like logarithm base a of x minus logarithm base a of y. You can separate them this way. This rule is really important. You should always keep that in mind. To understand more, let's check these questions. The first question says that you might think that there's like a bunch of different numbers how I'm going to solve this, but as we learned in the previous rule, you are going to write them, you are going to turn these pluses into like one logarithm by multiplying the powers. Let's do it. So as you can see, I got the powers in a like more strict way by multiplying them. If you multiply these numbers, it makes to 360. So logarithm base of logarithm base of 360 makes 1. Let's check this question. The question asks us simplify a plus b. Let's write a plus b first of all. As you can see, the bases are simple, which is 10. So we can write the powers in a product form like this. And let's change this part by writing it differently like this. As you can see, these cancel each other, so we only have this. So as you can see, we simplified it into this one. We cannot simplify it anymore, so we're just gonna leave it like that. And let's move on to the fourth rule. The fourth rule says that you can write this logarithm into the base of your choice. Like you can write the logarithm in a divided form, of course, in whatever ways you want. This will help you writing other logarithmic equation in the other terms, which you will see in the next questions. Also, if you have this part, like the bases are simple and like it's in a divided form, you can write it like this. You can convert it like this. So let's start with this question. These type of questions are really important and you will see them in lots of tests or like quizzes. So let's start analyzing it. It gives us a constant and it wants you to solve this logarithm in terms of a. In this type of question, you will find a way where you can write in another base, like we see in the rule 3. You're gonna change the bases and you will write a number in the base in which you can change the numbers into this, which we will see now. For example, we can write this logarithm in the base 2. Let's write 2. Let's write logarithm 2 base 2 of 12 and logarithm base 2 of 18. And if we change this as the multiplication of 2 times 2 times 3, we can write this logarithm 2 to the power of 2 times 3 over, we can write this as like 3 to the power of 2 and 2. We can write it like this, logarithm 2 base 2 of, and we can write this in like addition form like this, logarithm as you can see here, we get something that looks similar here. I mean you can see the terms here. We convert the whole logarithmic equation into another logarithmic equation to get this one. Let's write this in a more simpler form, where you get the powers into the front. So I took the powers into the front and write the equation into another form. So this, as you can see here, this logarithm base 2 of 2 is 1. Also this is 1. So we can write 1. If we write 1 instead of 10, we get the coefficient only. 2 plus, as you can see, this is a, 2 plus a over, this is a, 2a plus 1. So we just simplified the whole equation into this part. To sum up the whole thing we did, we changed the base according to base 3 that you learned in like previously, and found this term. You have to get used to it by solving more questions, but you have to guess which base are you going to use to cancel the terms.